SwimOutlet.com delivers the best online shopping experience. With an extensive selection and the lowest prices, you're guaranteed to find the product you need. Here's what you get. Free shipping on all orders over $49. Free 1 to 2 day shipping on all orders over $99. All orders placed by 6 p.m. ship out the same day. Shop at SwimOutlet.com, the web's most popular swim shop.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Friday, June 15th, 2012. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. Today in the Finis Monitor, we will talk to Chuck Warner, the author of a new book out next Wednesday featuring the extraordinary stories of 8 swimming legends and the paths they took to Olympic glory. The book is called And Then They Won Gold, Stepping Stones to Swimming Excellence. And Chuck Warner joins us right now from Martinsville, New Jersey. Coach, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Good morning, Jeff. It's great to see you.
So the title of his book, as we said, is And Then They Won Gold, Stepping Stones to Swimming Excellence, but there's an ellipsis before that. So when you're talking to people about the title, do you have to pause first to kind of emphasize those? What is the meaning of those ellipses?
That was a friend of mine came up with a title, which I thought was perfect. And it's the idea that before you ever win a gold medal at the Olympics or anywhere else, there's something that comes first. So that's why we put those 3 dots in front of the title. This book is about what happened before the gold medal.
And you got 8 swimmers who have won gold medals in the Olympics, and we'll run down those names now. Matt Biondi, David Berghoff, Mike Barrowman, Josh Davis, Lenny Kraselberg, Ian Crocker, Grant Hackett, and Aaron Pearsall. So how did you pick those 8 swimmers?
Well, you know, this was a rather amazing project. It came to my mind from your former coach, Eddie Reese, who suggested to me that we needed in swimming for coaches and swimmers some sort of a recipe book. And he had said that, you know, you go in the kitchen to bake a cake and you don't just start throwing flour in a bowl. You go to a book, you go to somebody's experience from before you, and you use that to help build your recipe to bake that cake. And over time you learn. So I started thinking about having sprint freestyler, middle distance freestyler, distance freestyler, back breast, butterfly, person that would all be in the book. And Matt Biondi, to me, is one of the all-time great swimmers, and he just seemed like his story should be told. And so there was a blend there between Matt and sprint freestyle and Mike and breaststroke. The legacy we've got covered pretty nicely in the last 25 years of backstroke with David Berghoff and Aaron Pearsall and Lenny Kraselberg in the middle. And then the other thing, like you, I had coached some of these guys on U.S. national teams. So I knew David pretty well, I knew Mike Barrowman pretty well, and I knew Josh Davis pretty well. And I felt like those guys would be a good nucleus of the place to start.
And just obviously an obscene amount of research and time that you had to spend interviewing a lot of people. From the first, I guess, from the inception of the idea to the publication of this book next week, what was the time frame of putting this all together?
Oh boy, you know, when I wrote 4 Champions, 1 Gold Medal, Jeff, it was in the coaching, and it took 2 or 3 years to really bring it to fruition. And this book was 6 months or more of just working like a nut. I took my daughter to get her graduation dress to New York City, and I sat in the middle of Times Square writing while she went into shops with a friend of hers. I mean, it was just an obsession for an immense amount of time for about 6 months.
So pretty much every spare moment you had, you were writing.
I was making them. I was making the moments. A lot of time.
So in researching these athletes who, as you said, you've had the experience to coach, were there any nuggets of information that you found fascinating that you had never known about them?
Oh my God, it was amazing. I wish I had had this book when I first started to coach, because I think sometimes I was talking to Dave Salo about this. Why don't coaches or swimmers see more of what the options are and be more creative? And I think we get so consumed with our daily work. If you're a college coach, recruiting never ends. If you're a club coach, you're getting up several times early in the morning usually, and you're working till late at night, you're dealing with parents, you're dealing with budgets, you're dealing with so many different things. It's hard to step back and look at your whole program and really get a glimpse of what it would take for someone to be the very best in the world. So I just, I hunted down Bert Hall, who was Mike Merriman's summer club coach in the recreation department in Rockville, Maryland, to try to find out how Mike got started. Stu Kahn was easier to find, who was Matt Biondi's coach behind me with summer league through high school. But for each and every person, I tried to find where they started and talk with those coaches that helped them right at the beginning. I could go on for days about how many things there was to learn, but just trying to articulate breaststroke the way Joseph Naj had done with Mike was something that would have helped me help you back in 1990 when we went to Paris together in the U.S. junior team. But I was too busy just trying to do my job and go learning more.
Well, as you mentioned, this is your second book. Your first book is the very popular Four Champions, One Gold Medal. As for those who may not know, followed four swimmers as they were preparing for and actually racing for that gold medal in the 1500 freestyle at the 1976 Olympics, correct?
Right. The last time America was really dominant in this event.
And to me, having read both of these books, I think this new one, And Then They Won Gold, seems like a sequel of sorts. You're kind of carrying on from this legacy of these four swimmers and how great training was in the 70s, and now you're moving on to the way training is and was in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, a sequel in the sense of trying to learn more about how people have gotten faster. I wanted to make sure that we had people that were current. In other words, Aaron Pearsall, obviously the greatest backstroker, male backstroker in the history of the world, and I should say that I'm starting to work on a women's book to complement this one. It's too much to put all the men and all the women together in one book, but trying to find people that were current. Biondi still has the full record at Texas in the 100-meter freestyle, 48.42, I think, from 1980 at Olympic trials. Those guys would still be very effective and very good today. So yes, in a sense, it was bringing training more to a current level. The difference between Grant Hackett training distance freestyle and Bobby Hackett training distance freestyle, or Brian Goodell training distance freestyle, was huge. But one of the neat things, Jeff, was Dennis Cotterell, Grant Hackett's coach, told me that he would read stories from Four Champions, One Gold Medal to Grant Hackett and his teammates to help inspire them to know that some of the things that those guys had done in the 70s were a whole lot harder than what Grant was doing in the 1990s or 2000.
Very interesting. So you mentioned the volume 2 is going to be about the women. You want to give us a sneak peek about some of those athletes we're going to be reading about?
Well, I've been in touch with Mary T, and I really think Mary T, 57.9, 2059 in 1981 butterfly, is pretty darn current for our swimmers in swimming. And, she's the third fastest 200 butterflyer still today in all of American women's swimming. I hope Tracy Calkins could be a part of it, because anybody that has held every American record in every stroke deserves to be remembered, and go from there. It's tough sometimes to get a good mix of people that are really current. These guys have won 28 Olympic gold medals between them, and that's a pretty incredible group to have. So I'm not sure if we'll find women that have accumulated that many, but I hope we can get some girls that help these guys like Matt and Aaron and Josh. It took a lot of time to contribute to this, and I really appreciate that. And I hope the world is swimming them.
Well, the book comes out next Wednesday, as we said, June 20th, and we're all looking forward to seeing Volume 2. Like you said, Mary T and Tracy are excellent names, and I could probably give you 20 more who should be included.
Well, I'd like to hear them. I don't know if you recognize this poster back over my right shoulder, but that is from Paris in 1990 when Jeff Cummings and Josh Davis and Joe Hudipole and Matt Hooper and Brad Bridgewater and a number of Olympians went on the national junior team there.
Yes.
Right in the center back here, Jeff, is your autograph with USA #1. And you're the only person on that poster that wrote that on it. So I really appreciate the work you're doing and being on the Jeff Cummings show.
Well, thank you very much, Chuck. I always have vivid memories of that trip, and it will definitely stick with me for the rest of my life as one of those experiences that started me and on this journey, and as you said, all those other guys who would go on to great swimming success.
Remember, your byline now at the end of your show can be turn off your cell phone, right?
Yes.
Or say, help somebody else win before you win. Maybe Jeff Cummings can turn off your cell phone. Well, this is an effort to try to help more guys like you and people that, coaches that really care, swimmers and parents that really care, that are looking for more information to try to open the door for people. And I hope we can do that.
Well, I'm sure it will, Chuck. Thanks for joining us today, and best of luck with the new book.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks very much for having me.
My pleasure. All right, so that's Chuck Warner, the author of And Then They Won Gold. You can pre-order this book right now in the Swimming World Swim Shop, and you can also, as always, get the 4 Champions 1 Gold medal, Chuck's first book, in our swim shop. That's going to do it for the Morning Swim Show today. I'm Jeff Cummings. Enjoy the weekend.